Hello and welcome to this specific Dakar Classic briefing that will help you to apprehend the specificities linked to this new class.
The
main general briefing, presented by David Castera, will also be available online, and it also concerns you. Make sure you check it out if you haven't done it yet. Before starting, I wish in the name of the entire Dakar team to thank you. Thank you for your confidence. It was a real pleasure to set up this new event, and we hope it'll be the same for you as participants. Let's talk about the main sporting principles of this Dakar Classic. These explanations to come are a complement to the rule book. An updated version was actually sent to you recently. It's essential to know those rules well to manage the best possible race. To make sure that these rules are respected, we'll have a race direction led by Luis Gomez, but also commissaires with Pedro Almeida, Adrian Polo, and Jérôme Arcucci. In terms of the technical aspects, André Olivier will be in charge of vehicle scrutineering, directed by Thierry Viardot. In case of need, on every bivouac, there's the competitor's office, open night and day, and you'll be able to count on the help of our ambassador, Yves Loubet, present on the course and at the bivouac every evening. Yves will be the main man to contact in case you have a problem. It's important to mention that the Dakar Classic, as a category of the Dakar, will benefit from all the normal infrastructures of the rally. There will be the PCO headquarters in charge of security of the event, with a constant eye on your race and can send help at any time. Also present each evening at the bivouac, the standings office dedicated to the Dakar Classic. Please go and see them if you have a question concerning your results. We can now start this briefing with a little lexicon of terms that you have to be familiar with. It starts with the famous ZR, the zones of regularity, which is at the heart of the competition. Every day you'll find between 2 and 4 on distances going from 25 kilometers to 85 kilometers. These ZRs are constituted of a start named DZR, beginning of regularity zone, and an FZR, end of regularity zone. These DZRs and FZRs are, of course, always mentioned on the roadbook. On these roadbooks, you'll be evaluated on your capacity to be regular, which means to respect in the best possible way the average speeds given and be as close as possible of the ideal time. For that, you'll be timed at different secret places known as PCIs, intermediate time checks. Their number varies from 3 to 10 based on the distance of the regularity zones. The FZR is considered as a time check. It's on these PCIs that your advance or delay will be penalized through points. You'll also meet more traditional terms in rallying, with CHs, time controls, and CPs, passage controls, either with human presence, where it'll be necessary to present your time card, or automatic, and your time will be taken from your Trippy, and you have nothing to do. Finally, the DZs and FZs, that stand for beginning of zone and end of zone, and they are zones where speed is restricted and cannot be exceeded. They can be situated on the liaisons or on regularity zones. Let's now check out how a typical stage goes on the Dakar Classic. Every evening you'll find on the official boards your start time for the next day. You need to arrive early enough to take off on time at the bivouac starts CH. That CH will be CH1 on your time card that you'll collect there. That CH symbolizes the start on the A liaison heading to CH2 that you need to reach respecting a given time. That CH2 marks the end of the liaison and the beginning of the first regularity zone of the day. You'll have 5 minutes between your time check at CH2 and your start time for the first ZR of the day. The time of your start on the ZR will be noted on your time cards by the organization. Let me remind you that all the DZRs are in auto start. you're autonomous thanks to the official time set on your Trippy. Just to let you also know that voluntarily starting too early or too late can be only penalizing due to the fact that being early or late on the ideal time is penalizing in terms of regularity. So off you go on the first regularity zone. When you finish that first ZR, and therefore reach the FZR, your time of passage will appear on the screen of your Trippy. Please note on your time card that passage time because it'll determine your time to restart for the next ZR, thanks to the time you're allowed to take noted on that same time card.
Au temps imparti, indiqué également sur le carton de temps.
If you're late for your time check at the next DZR, you'll note a new time on your time card and will be given penalties for being late at a CH. Indeed, the time checks at a DZR works like for a CH. You will, however, be given a 15-minute bonus every day on your possible delays at a CH. For example, if you're 3 minutes late, no penalty will be given. Other situation, you're late after a ZR, and your time check at FZR is at the same minutes as another competitor. That means that the start time at the next DZR is identical for both vehicles. In that case, the first vehicle having reached the FZR will start first on the following ZR. The second vehicle will wait a minimum of 1 minute before starting again. There again, the 15-minute bonus per day can be used. After reaching the last FZR of the day, here on your screen the FZR2, you then go to the CH3 that marks the beginning of the B liaison, on which you'll have a time to respect until CH4, which is the end of the stage. Note that between the last DZR of the day and CH3, you'll have 10 minutes, but are authorized to start before. As you see, your day is rhythmed by a succession of sectors to cover in fixed times and through regularity zones.
Et par des zones de régularité.
From CH1 to CH2 for liaison A, then from CH2 to CH3 for the parts including the different regularity zones or transfers between regularity zones. And finally, the last sector of the day between CH3 and CH4 for liaison B. All the times indicated on the time card are verified at the finish. In case of an issue, the times taken through the Trippy will be the official ones. Talking about the time card, here's an example. Every sector is clearly indicated on the left part of the card. The red squares are only for the race officials at the CH. The grey ones are those that the crew must fill in. You can indicate your theoretical time and real time that could be different in case you're late. You'll notice a yellow part on the Trippy real-time part. Those are the times given to you by the Trippy device at FZR passages. The human CPs will be in blue. The automatic CPs will be in yellow. Let's now see in detail how things go in a ZR. You saw that they were of various lengths and had different terrain. We made the average speeds evolve inside one same ZR based on the nature of the terrain you'll meet. To understand the principle inside a regularity zone, let us use a charter of average speeds that you'll be given every morning as you leave the bivouac. That average speed charter takes into account all the roadbook notes. Each time you'll find the following information: the total kilometers to cover in the note, the speed to respect between that note and the next one, as well as the ideal passage time based on the two types of speeds, H1 and H2. Thanks to your Trippy and your stopwatch, you'll be able to know if you're early or late for each note of the roadbook. Reminder, being early is more penalizing than being late. So now you understand how a day goes on the Dakar Classic. Let's focus on the key elements of your rally. the roadbook that is on your Trippy device.
Le roadbook qui est assuré par le boîtier Trippy.
First of all, make sure that the Trippy device is in front of the co-driver and solidly attached and plugged.
Attaché et branché.
For that, make sure that the power cable is well plugged. Once on the navigation page, you should see a white flash on the battery logo. In case you lack of power, a message of error will appear and the flash will have disappeared. If you have an issue with your device, please go and see the Trippy team once you reach the bivouac in the evening.
Au bivouac le soir.
On the left of the device, you'll find right and left arrows to move from a menu to another. An OK button to select a function,
Sélectionner une fonction,
and a menu button symbolized by 3 horizontal lines to go back all the way to the general menu.
menu général.
In the parameters, you'll find an option menu, allowing you to deal with the brightness of the screen and the choice of the language between French and English.
Et l'anglais.
In the general menu, you'll find a help page giving you the basis of how the Trippy works.
Du fonctionnement du Trippy.
Every morning, the device will set up automatically before your start and will show your day's roadbook. However, you can find on the roadbook menu the different stages with the letter A for the assistance roadbooks from bivouac to bivouac, and the Dakar Classic racetrack with the letter C. The race courses of the stages after that of the day will, of course, be blocked. You can watch the stages in manual mode and move back into automatic mode at the top of the menu. In the morning, the device has charged the good roadbook, and you go to the navigation mode, and we see in the present case that you are 30 meters away from the first note indicated on the upper right part of the screen. To make sure that the good roadbook is charged, press the menu button continuously and a window will appear precising the current roadbook used. Press again on the menu button to make that window disappear. If I want to check at any time of the day the following notes, press on the OK button once, and I get into visualization mode indicated by the eye situated on the upper left side of the screen. You can use the left and right arrows to go from note to note. Just press again on the OK button to get back to the navigation mode. Let's now check the information when the vehicle is moving on the itinerary. On the center of the screen, you have the direction to follow to get to the next note. The number of that note appears in the upper right corner on a blue background, and it will also indicate the total kilometers of the note. Still in the upper part of the screen, you'll find the kilometers to cover dropping down based on how you progress towards the note. Here, you're only 70, 50, 20 meters before passing the next note automatically. You'll also find an arrow called sniffer that shows the orientation of the track approximately 50 meters ahead of you. On the right of the screen, you have the possibility to use 2 types of pages. The first page, called Border Info, shows different information like the official rally time, the heading to follow, the distance remaining until the end of the stage. The second page is selected thanks to the up and down arrows and allows you to have on the screen the trace of the itinerary up to 150 meters ahead of you. In this example, the vehicle moves away from the trace and the GPS becomes a compass. It's therefore important to move back towards the trace to allow the roadbook to reappear on the screen. It's a situation you can meet when there are 2 parallel tracks, for instance. In the bottom right corner, you'll find the status of the device, the battery charge with a flash, the GPS reception and the GSM reception, and the automatic roadbook mode as a reminder. When you move away from the itinerary, the roadbook disappears and you enter compass mode. In this example, you didn't go right, The situation is simple because you just need to go straight to get on the trace again, and the device automatically switches to note number 5, towards which you were initially driving. If you don't immediately return to the itinerary, the compass mode indicates the distance to the closest note. You can, thanks to the left and right arrows, check the other notes, and the distance will be recalculated. It's a distance based on a straight line with the direction towards the note to follow. The note number that you are supposed to follow appears in green. On the course, you'll meet DZFZ, which are zones where maximum speeds can't be exceeded. In this example, you're on the track moving towards note 12, where there's a DZ with a limited 50 km/h speed due to the presence of a camp close to the track. A first signal appears 300 meters from the note, and the screen flashes, and an audio beep, and the information in the border info. You then enter the speed zone, and in this case, you're going too fast. The device tells you, and there's a continuous beeping. When you reach the FZ, end of zone, you exit that zone, and you no longer have a max speed to respect. When you pass an FZR, it's essential to note your passage time at the finish line, which will allow to determine your start time for the next ZR or following CH. Here, you're driving to the FZR2, and as soon as you pass it, the passage time appears in the border info zone on the right of the screen. Be careful, that info will only be available on screens during 3 minutes and will then disappear. But once the info noted, you can press on OK and make it disappear before these 3 minutes. A reminder to tell you that your Trippy will have to be dismounted and returned to the Trippy teams as soon as you finish at the Jeddah Stadium or on a bivouac if you have to retire during the rally. Please make sure that you read the Lexicon of the Trippy road book that will help you to manage good navigation. So that's the Trippy device. Let's now focus on the other device in your vehicles, the GPS small track beacon. That beacon must also be constantly supported by your vehicle in energy and receive a sufficient enough GPS signal. For that, place it the closest possible to your windscreen. If it isn't the case, please go and see the Marlink teams at the Jeddah Stadium to eventually have an antenna set up. The small track has 3 buttons. Make sure the beacon is working thanks to the power light. The red button will allow you to launch an alert to the Paris headquarters that will directly inform the PCO. But be careful, that red button must only be used in case of an accident with injuries. Using this alert for a minor problem means it can mobilize safety teams for nothing. Let's now talk about the different daily meetings during the rally. At 5 o'clock every day, you'll have an information note on the official boards of the Dakar Classic. You'll find important information for the following stage. And of course, you'll have the daily briefing of the following stage at 8 o'clock at the center of the bivouac, and a part of it will be dedicated to the Dakar Classic. We often talk about the official message boards of the rally. Information will be available via the Sportitaille app. You can now download that app and enter the password you see on the screen and activate your push notifications to be informed in real time of the latest info available. Before we finish, here's a reminder of the dates. As soon as tomorrow, the 1st of January, start of technical and administrative scrutineering, where we'll be present to answer all your questions if necessary. The following day, on the 2nd of January, a first taste of the race with a prologue. Now, this prologue doesn't count for the Dakar Classic standings. After that prologue, you'll attend the start podium ceremony, and your order of passage will be given via the Sportitaille app. And finally, on the 3rd of January, the first stage of the Dakar. I wish you all a great race, have fun, and stay safe.
Restez prudents.